Disrupt or die. We're here to just have a conversation. Really simple. We got on a call together, no scripts, no nothing. I said, we're just going to talk. And whatever happens, happens. But I did think of one question I wanted to ask you all backstage. And Kortas, we'll start with you on this question. What's one thing you hate about running a business?
So it's a loaded question. It depends on when. I mean, if you're talking about right now, it's a problem that nobody else here has. Mm-hmm. So I hate petty, fucked up lawsuits with fucked up ex-partners. But in the general world, the one thing that most loan producers would hate would be probably more on the lines of compliance, things of that nature. Things that you have to do, regardless of. So we have 2 rules at NEXA. You got to be compliant, you got to be profitable. And some loan officers have a problem with the compliant part more than anything. But as broker owners, we don't get the right to ignore that shit anymore. And as loan officers, we always try to skirt that a little bit. And so it's a little weird for me. But that's probably the number one thing I hate, is having had a conversation about a loan officer why you can't do something.
Yeah, and especially with the increase from the CFPB, and you're seeing just so much more happening behind the scenes. So compliance is a really big deal, and you can't bend the barrel on just one thing, right? If you bend it for one person, that's causing potential issues for you. But Corrina, I'll pass it to you here. Same question. What's one thing you hate about running a business?
I'm totally opposite of Mike. I'm going to go with the people. And when I say the people is, as an owner, you see so much potential in so many people, and they may not see it in themselves. So being an owner, I think really trying not to convince someone to do something they're different of, but just trying to get them to follow a different path maybe a little bit, and a little bit more collaboration than what they're used to. That makes a huge difference possibly in somebody's life. But we're here not to convince them, right? But we see so much potential in so many people, and sometimes they just don't see it in themselves.
That's big. I 100% agree with you, and you're always asking that question, right? Like, why aren't you waking up early? Why aren't you studying? Why aren't you training more? And so I agree with you. I think that's a big deal as well. David Temko, for you on your side, what's one thing you hate about running a business?
We're all here to grow and produce and find the next level of success, and I think it's easy to get pulled into the business versus working on the business. And I like to work on the business and focus on, where we're looking to go, go to where the puck is headed versus, working on where the puck is. And it's easy to just get pulled into the business and think you're being busy and you're having a good day, but at the end of the day, it's like, what did I really get to move the business forward? So I like to focus on the business, and I think that goes from leading a company or being an originator and finding the next loan and working with the next realtor and the next borrower.
I appreciate that. Corrina, for you on your end, one of the things you talked about, right, was pouring into people. And obviously, when you're looking at somebody and you know they have more in them, what is that process like for you when it comes to that training, how to set them up for success and making sure they get to that level? What does it take for you to pour into that person?
Well, I think on the other side is we have to see that they're open-minded, right? And we have to show them. So can I speak out of turn here just a little bit?
Please.
Just off the record? So,
it's on the record. It's recorded.
So for everybody up here, this is not my first time with Mike, my first time with David and Mike, and just all things are possible. So I brought my balls with me to hang out with you guys today. Mo gave me. So, yeah, let's go. So people would think, why am I up here with these big guns here? So I brought an extra set.
We all know you didn't need those. We all knew you had those already.
Oh, my God.
But, all right, to answer your question, Jonathan.
You said it wasn't going to be bad.
I even had Jonathon blushing.
A little bit.
Okay. To answer your question I go back to that is we can set them on a serious path, but are they really going to follow it, right? And we map out day -1 to day 91. And the first person who can't open their email, we have to direct them a different way. So we got different traffic directors in our company and who to go to. But it also doesn't mean that they're going to follow that path. So listening to them, I'd say just the same as if you guys aren't going to realtor events, you have an issue right now. So going to realtor events, you talk to them and they say, okay, you've got to listen to what the people want in a house. We also have to listen to what the originator wants and what they want to be done in the future. So for us, a lot of it is the new age originator. They want to brand themselves. They want to do this. So going into the future for just anybody. What are you listening to them? Are you listening to what they want to do? And do you have a roadmap for that for them?
The process and procedures. You and I have had conversations about this like crazy, where you've actually had people that were afraid, that were coming over from retail over to the space, and they were nervous that, oh, you don't have the systems in place, or what's going to happen with my loan and what goes through that system. And you have everything built in writing, and that's another big deal that I think a lot of people don't take into consideration. Do you have all these processes built out in your system there? And that way, if anybody were to ever join your company, or even for you, starting your day and going through your day, do you know exactly and specifically what you should be doing when you feel like there's nothing to do? That's where I feel like a lot of loan officers will lose sight of what's actually important in front of them. Mike, one of the things for you, man, just getting to know you more and more and understand who you are as a person, there's two different Mike Kortases, and you said everything, anything's on the table, all right? This is on you now, all right? You started off with F-bombs, we're going this route. So
I didn't bring my balls out yet.
Yeah. So, but for you, I think one of the cool, unique things that I have seen is your ability that no matter what is thrown your way, you do propel forward. Like, you have these blinders that go on, and it is what it is. Things bounce off, and no matter what people feel or think about you, it's not a bother. Where does that come from, and do you believe there's an importance to that that's allowed you to take this company to where you've had it?
Yeah, look, I got a bulldog mentality. I fight. I wasn't giving shit in my life. I mean, I grew up homeless, on the streets, juvenile detention, foster care systems. I got all that story. And so there's nothing that somebody can take from me that wasn't given to me already. So I fought for everything in my life, right? From the time that I was a little kid growing up, murdered fathers, I've had to deal with some shit. So nothing that anybody can throw me out. All the antic bullshit that somebody throws at me on social media, all the crap that you had to deal with when you took the position, I dealt with that shit, obviously, as well throughout time, and I'm known for my Facebook. I mean, but I'm also willing to go. I proved it last week with Ramon. I was willing to go toe to toe with him face to face also. So somebody wants to come at me on social, come at me in face to face too, is what it comes out to. But it ain't nothing gonna stop me. I'm going to move forward. I'm going to keep going. I'll get punched in the mouth just like anybody. And it isn't going to stop me. It ain't going to affect me. You can't hurt me from what I've already been hurt. So it's easy for me to keep propelling at that point. And I think it's in a lot of people. Everybody has a story, right? I have my story. You got your story. You got your story, right? Great story, brother. Right? Everybody has a story, but you got to use that story to push you forward. You got to use that to say, no, fuck you. I'm not going to sit down. I'm not going to have somebody tell me I can't do it. I'm going to do exactly what you told me I can't do, and I'm going to keep going forward. People said I can't pay 100%. Bullshit. Watch me. Right? Well, you can't make money. Oh, trust me, we do. So there's nothing you can't do if you put your mind to it. And you think about it every day. You can think about some crazy, outlandish thing that you want to do. And everybody else around you will tell you can't do it because they can't do it, right? But the more you think about it, the more it sets in. It becomes a reality. And all of a sudden you figure out how you can do it. You see, the thing that somebody said they couldn't do, the 4-minute mile couldn't be ran. Right? The moment somebody ran it, somebody said, well, shit, maybe we can do this. And all of a sudden everybody started running the 4-minute mile, right? So you can do it. You just don't let anybody ever tell you otherwise. Don't let anybody ever, anytime somebody hits you and makes fun of you or knocks you down, have the audacity to pick yourself up, brush yourself off, move forward, and show them that you're not going to be held down.
The story, that was so impactful because people don't understand, right? They've done studies on this, right? They've done studies on people that deal with similar instances where they have, awful upbringings. Then you have one person that says what? Oh, my life is bad, therefore I'm not successful. Then you have the other person that says, my life was so bad, I'm going to become successful. And they've gone through the exact same situation. It's exactly what you're talking about. Temko, back on your end, one of the things we talked about backstage that I absolutely loved, you're consistent with your quarterly meetings that you do. And we talked about how you prepare and presentations and making all that happen. I think a lot of times what I've seen in the space, and it's happened to me too, right, as a broker owner, it's things get canceled or, oh, that's not that important. And from a culture perspective, it really takes its toll. Like, it bothers me when I have to cancel a one-on-one because I know the impact it has on another person because I've had people cancel one-on-ones for me, and it's impacted me a certain way. Where did that culture piece come from? Why is it so important for the continued growth of your organization?
Yeah, it started with my dad and just being a genuine, authentic person that attracted the right people to our company. And it became a family, and that's how we grow it. That's who we align with. That's who we attract. I would have loved to be, I was dressed up for the event last night, all dapper in Gatsby attire, but I had a company dinner, and I tried to do both, and I ended up spending the time with my company, and that was what was important to me, and I would love to have been with all of you, but I was in another place, and I can't be two places at once. So, but thank you. And it's about that community. We talk about community. We've heard a lot of those, those words been thrown around while people are up here. We all are a part of a community, and I think that's amazing. I think of when we recruit loan officers, we bring people on who we want to attract. We identify who our avatar is. Our avatar is, I think, a Navy SEAL, and I think that's, that they're there. They're not the Army. They're not like they're and everywhere where retail is and on every corner. We're the Navy SEALs that come in and clean up the problems and make deals happen and get things done, and that's who we attract. We're not drama at C2. We kind of, we make it happen, and you just hear the numbers. I think we ran a report, I think it was from Scotsman, about how many loan officers we have. We have 1,100 loan officers and the volume we have. And per capita, our loan officers at C2 do more loans than any other loan officer at any other brokerage company across the nation. So I think that goes to show the folks that are at our company compete and do the most, and it attracts the people that want to be better. I think it's important to surround yourself in a room with people that are always smarter than you, so it pushes you to that next level. And that's what it's all about. We have that connection. People come to us. There's thousands and thousands of hours of experience at our company that people can communicate with each other to solve problems faster and get deals done better and provide better services for the customer.
And you gave me a call last night. You texted me too, just about that dinner that you had, and that's exactly how I felt. And even when I talked to you today, it's like, no, man, I totally get it. I respected the fact that, hey, this was planned. We went through it. You apologized, but it was about your culture. It's about what was the most important thing at that time, and it's okay if it's not something else. We have to start being okay doing that stuff. And I'm somebody that hates going down that path too, right? It's like you're letting somebody down. But the truth of the matter is you have to prioritize what's the most important thing. And if you're running an organization, the most important thing is simple. It's your organization, and that's okay. That's okay if you have to prioritize that. And so I appreciate you sharing that and being that candid with us. Corrina, back to you. One of the things, I've been reading some reports that come out. I love just diving into it, especially spending time in retail like I did for 6 years and just checking in on all the things happening. There's a huge push on gaining purchase market share from the retail space. There's articles that have been launched, public earnings reports that have come out that talk about AI and how they're going to go ballistic on AI because they have billions and billions of dollars. What's your take on that, and do you believe that'll actually be a potential hurdle that we're going to have to face as the mortgage broker community?
Yeah, I agree. It will be. So that's how I'll do one thing.
I knew something was. I was trying to set it up. I wasn't sure.
All right, so our team has on these shirts today. It's not for our team. If you talk to anybody in our team, it goes aligned with brokers are best. I have been a broker for 6,980 days today. 6,980 days today, and I personally have served over 10,000 home buyers in my career. This is what it's about. So next year, we really all need to be wearing a shirt like this that says retail. They are not like us. I don't have the arm that everybody else has. I'll throw it out there to everybody. But show them, tell them, they are not like us. Our margins are better. Each one of us as owners will let people do, be, see, and who's going to be seen, who's going to be heard is absolutely the people that are going to be picked. So if you're not out there telling people in retail that they are not like us, then you're missing out on a grave opportunity. We are going to be behind the boat because they will put some things in place, like Mike's company is in my DM all the time trying to recruit me. No offense, Mike. But that's in every one of our team members' DM. So you need to be telling everybody exactly what we do and wearing your brand. Brokers are best, and they are fucking not like us. So that's it. Period.
I love that, and even it's funny. We had a loan officer on my team. He ended up leaving, and I called the broker owner. I'm going to share. We're candid, right? So he went to Tom Hollis, And I called Tom. I said, hey, here's what's happening. Tom's like, you good? Are you good? I said, Tom, listen, I'm more than good. I don't own the loan officer that works for me. If they're not happy with what I'm doing, that means I'm not doing a good enough job. And for him, he's a good friend of mine. And we rolled him out. I sent the video to Tom. I brought him into the office. I said, guys, it's his last day. Here's why he's going. Thank you so much for everything that you've done for us. Because at the end of the day, we have to continue to showcase the value that we have. So I appreciate you even sharing that, because that's what it's about, right? Like, it doesn't matter. We need to help grow. We need to bring over retail. I mean, that's the situation here, and there's opportunities everywhere, left and right. And so that's a huge push, and I appreciate you going down that path.
Can I touch on that, though?
Yeah, please.
So this whole notion that, oh my God, you stole my loan officer, you stole my purse, and that shit, right? Tom and I trade loan officer chips like they're fucking potato chips or, Matchbox cars when we were a kid, right? David and I, we trade loan officers all the time, right? They
send them your way.
And maybe back again.
Nexans.
You know what I'm saying? This is what happens. There was this notion some years back that you can't ever talk to another. But look, guys, we should quash that stuff. If you keep thinking that, let me tell you something. The big brokers, the enormous brokers that you see on the table here, and Tom in the back, right? We don't think that way anymore.
Yeah.
At all. We're like, oh, yeah, okay, David took, 8 of my loan officers this week. Fine, right? I got 8 of his last week. We don't think that way anymore. Stop thinking small. Think big if you want to get big.
Yeah.
We don't think that way.
And don't be afraid to have conversations. I picked up the phone and I called him right away. There's nothing wrong with that. Like, Renee talked about it earlier, that narrative gap. Just call and figure out what's going on as well. I think that's a big piece of it.
But it's about the relationship. If somebody, you're not going to keep a bird cage from flying. If I have a loan officer that thinks some other shop is better for him, hey, I'm not here to hold him back. He goes, and a lot of times they come back. So it's like, some people think the grass is greener, and it generally isn't. And we have folks that have left, and they come right back, and the door's always open. I'm going to keep that door open. Am I upset that they left? Because I care for them as a person, but because I care, I'm happy that they're going someplace that they think they're missing something that's going to benefit their business. They're going to learn something, and if they come back, great. And if they don't, then I wish them nothing but success and happiness. I want everybody to be happy.
I love that. That's the vibe, and I hope you guys are feeling it up here. Look, this is stuff that people, it's always been like a no to talk about, right? It's not about this anymore. It's real conversations that we're going to have, and if this makes you uncomfortable, just know that's a good thing.
Well, we're going to get to 50%. There's no way we're not going to trade loan officers.
And not just that, 50%. There's 24% more market share to gain. That's a lot of opportunity for every single person in this room to gain from that. And so, Temko, I'll take it back to you on this. Just from a potential hurdle standpoint, I talked a bit about AI, but what hurdles are you seeing on the back end, right? With all the changes that keep occurring, what are you actually seeing?
I mean, our compliance is always first and foremost.
Yes.
We are probably the most compliant company in the industry because we've been around the longest. We've seen a lot, so it's important to kind of find out where the spirit and the letter is, and always make sure that you're following the letter, but you're making sure that you can do good business, and you want to be able. And the focus is really the consumer. As long as we're dealing with people that are borrowing money, it's the largest decision they've ever made in their life financially. So you want to make sure you have people that are of good character and, steward that in the right way. And I think that making sure you have good people with strong integrity is paramount. And I think that's kind of one of the main things. It makes things a lot easier if you have folks that are, are questionable. It makes our lives a lot more challenging to run a business. But if you have great people that are doing the right thing and you trust them with that, and it comes down to that trust, then it'll be all right.
That is a big deal, man. Just doing the right thing and focusing on us propelling and moving forward in that right direction, because it's not worth one loan. It really never is. And unfortunately, we've let go of brokers on our team as well that have done, unfortunately, not the right thing, because when it comes back to it, it all goes up to the top. And that's a problem, and you're setting a terrible precedence, and that's what will be leveraged against us. If retail finds out that, we allowed this to happen, they will use it against us every step of the way. And so we have to make sure we're not cutting these corners. So please, make sure we're focusing on that. I know it's a general statement, but you guys know what I'm talking about. A lot of LOs in this room, myself included, we've all been in that spot where it's something potentially a little sticky, and you're trying to play in the gray. Don't play in the gray. So that's a big thing for us.
I thought of something on the way here as a disruptor, like kind of slogan against retail is community over Kool-Aid.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah,
I love that.
Because I think they feed them the Kool-Aid like it's so much more difficult. When you go out there, like they paint the picture of being a broker as like the Oakland Raiders of the NFL, you know, and I think that, you know, and it's like but it's the strong that survive. It is the folks that can break away from, you know, whatever it is that retail is feeding them and come to a community that is very welcoming, regardless of the shop that they come to. You know, I see what Mike goes through. I supported Mike. You needed some help. Like, hey, I've used these people for something like you've dealt with in the past. You know, we're all here to help each other. And I've been in communication we had a meeting
Bosses.
like at a, yeah, we all got together during a UWM Live. I was like, what's this all about? And it was kind of funny. It's like, it reminded me of that scene from Anchorman where they're all in like a back alley and everybody's holding like a different weapon. Like one guy's got like a trident, one guy's got a spear, and we're like, how's this gonna go? But everybody's there. Everybody has like a different kind of flavor to their company, and it's going to attract the people that align with who they are. You know, I've never seen anybody really leave from C2 to go to NEXA. I think our models are different enough where we just attract different people, and it works for both of us, right? And it works for everybody that's here too. You know, it's your tribe, and the bottom line is, and I think that we can all share, we all agree with, is disrupting retail, getting more loan officers out of retail, because I think, and we all believe, that when a borrower comes to a broker, they're going to get a better service, they're going to get a better loan, and they're going to have a better experience.
And just so you all know what that means for you, for loan officers in the crowd, right? You might be saying, well, John, I'm a loan officer. Like, why is that valuable to me? Because when we gain market share, we have more negotiating power with the investors. That is a fact. You do realize that right now there's additional charges for being a broker. But when you're at 50% market share, you can now go to the table with Fannie and Freddie and talk to them about, hey, here's what we have. This is a real movement. We need to make some adjustments. Like, why don't we have access to Ask Polly? Why don't we have that stuff? Why is it so hard for me to find guidelines?
Can I put a plug?
Go ahead, plug.
You can get Polly on loanofficersupport.com.
Oh, you plugged yourself. Great. I tried to stop it. Last question for you, Kortas.
Sorry.
Last question. That's all right. We'll take it. Last question. A processing side of things right now.
Yeah.
What do you believe processing will help propel this industry to that 50% market?
You have to. Look, I get loan officers who are like, well, I want to self-process. I'm like, well, good. So you only want to do a couple loans a month really well, right? Because you can only do so much. I hate it. Look, processing was a bane of my existence. I hated processing. I had fights with I was known, shocker to anybody, as Mean Mike in the processing community in Phoenix, right? They hated me. And I always said, look, close of escrow is like a misdemeanor, right? The more you miss, the meaner I get. If the processor missed a close of escrow, I'm like, but you got to have an effective process. When you find the right processor, and it's an individual, not a company, by the way. So it's like a loan officer, okay? Shitty loan officer at C2. Well, okay, is it C2 that's shitty, or is it the loan officer that's shitty, or is it the one at NEXA, right? It's not the company, it's the person. And the processing is very personalized. So when you find the right processor willing to communicate with the right systems in place, your whole life changes.
Listen.
And you can do so many more loans with a team. But find a commissioned-only processor, guys. Don't find one that's on a salary, right? Because processors on a salary are packing up at 4:30 because it's over at 5 for them. So
listen, we have to keep pushing us forward. We're going to continue to have these uncomfortable conversations in front of all of you, because this is what it's going to take, and we're not going to be afraid to have them. And so we want the feedback. We want the constant opinions from this group. We appreciate you all. Disrupt or die, some of the top in our space. We appreciate you guys very, very much. Take care.